is Kristen. This is my client Lisa, and we will be going through the reformer challenge with the platform and pull workout. So starting on 3.5 springs, I'm going to have Lisa just bring her heels up onto her bar, setting her up first. Due to some of the exercises at the get-go, having a little bit more of that bridging and potential to put pressure in her neck, we're starting with the head rest down. Her spine is going to be in a neutral alignment, so her chest is wide, shoulders are down, her core is still pulled together, so those ribs are felt like they're knitted in, pelvic floor is in and up, but she has that little space of her natural, or underneath her lower lumbar spine there. From here, I'm just going to have her start with some really nice deep breaths, and I'm going to move out of her way. So taking an inhale, she's going to let those arms hug all the way across, kind of letting all the air go to the lowest lobe of her lungs. On her exhale, she'll open those arms, expanding the rib cage, letting that air expand. And then again, inhale, connecting in and down, and exhale, expanding the ribs, feeling like everything connects deeper into that core. Inhale, hug, and exhale, she'll open back out. One more time, inhale, hug, and exhale out. With her arms open, she'll bring them around to the shoulder rest behind her, keeping that chest wide, her ribs still held together, and core bracing inwards and downwards to center herself. Keeping that neutral spine, she'll bring her legs up to a 90-degree tabletop position. Again, knees on top of those hips, connecting her core and stabilizing. From here, taking an inhale, she'll drop those knees to the left side of the room. On her exhale, she pulls back through her core, pressing down into the mat to come back to neutral. And again, inhale over to the right, keeping everything on that torso. Exhale, pull, realigning that spine. Again, getting that nice long twist in her obliques, and then using her core, her back, everything to brace back to the mat. One more time to that left side. And exhale, come back in, plant those feet back down onto her foot bar. Going into a few bridges, her arms will come back down by her sides. The arms are reaching long, just planting here. Now, really focusing on the articulation of your spine for this. Keeping those feet planted on that foot bar. Try not to let this carriage move. You'll start by pulling that pelvic floor in up, firing your glutes, and then taking an inhale, start to tuck the tailbone, articulating up, lifting one vertebrae up off the mat at a time. At the very top, take an inhale, exhale, start to tuck and lower all the way back down, and get more space between every single one of those vertebrae. Again, inhale at the bottom to prepare, exhale, tucking your tailbone, articulating all the way back in and up, in your knees, in line with your hips, in line with your shoulders. And again, from here, tuck that tailbone and rolling down from the top of the cervical, thoracic, down through the lumbar spine. That tailbone is the last thing to readjust. It's going to feel like for you, you go back to that neutral at the bottom there. So for her, it's going to feel like a little release. And then again, tucking that tailbone, connecting your core, pulling back and up, all the way back up to that shoulder bridge. At the top, placing that spine back down one vertebrae at a time. Again, that tailbone sacrum is going to be the last moment of that position. Let's go one more, just so you get that nice long stretch. Inhale, tucking that tailbone, rounding your spine, pulling all the way in up. Just making sure everything's in a nice alignment here. Exhale, tucking your tailbone, rolling all the way back down. And you'll re-engage into your neutral alignment here. We've taken her ropes and thrown them into the well so they don't scratch up our rails here as we go into her footwork. So starting with just the heels together, toes apart. You're in that nice neutral Pilates V, so the knees are tracking in line with your toes, but they're not opening out. Keeping that neutral spine, let's go for 12 reps, pressing through the heels, and then resisting that work back in. Feeling like your inner thighs are magnetized, your pelvic floor is lifted, and you keep that nice neutral spine. I know you naturally like to go into that tuck. There you go, squeeze, resist, back in. Everything in top is really just bracing and held as you move through those inner thighs and resist. That felt like about 6 to me. Let's go for 6 more. And resist and press. Resist. Feel like you're working against the springs on the way out, working against the springs on the way in. Really opening up the hamstrings, the glutes, the hips, the quads. Last one, pressing all the way out. Resist all the way back in. Once you're on your stopper, go ahead, separate your feet hip distance apart. Heels are on that bar, flexing those toes back towards the ceiling. And again, we're gonna really kind of light up your anterior tibialis on the front of the shin bone here, keeping that neutral spine. Again, press the heels, extending those legs. Feel like your glutes and your hamstrings start to fire up to take some of the work from the quads, the backs of the legs. Keep going, there you go. Resist and pulling back in. Naturally, watch that rotation in those ankles. Yeah, keeping that nice neutral parallel. lighting up that front of your shins, firing up the back so there's energy in the front and the back. Those kneecaps are pulling up the thighs, so you're getting everything to lengthen as long as possible. Let's go for about 4 more. Squeeze and press, and resist, and press. Let's go last 2, and last 1. Return all the way back in. From here, glue those heels together, toes apart again. And from here, we're going into pulses. So go ahead from here, bring those heels back up on that bar, perfect. Press through the heels, extend all the way out. I want you to come halfway in for 5 pulses here. Pulsing up an inch, down inch for 2. Press 3, feel like your energy's through the heels, 4. 5, straighten all the way out, nice. 2 more times, just like that. And pulse, and 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and press, nice. Last time. And then squeeze those inner thighs. They're pulling towards each other even though they're not touching. 3, press 4, press 5, stretch all the way out, and return all the way back in. Once you're on that stopper, again, separate those feet, hip distance apart. Those toes are flexed up towards the ceiling, same heel on that bar. All right, same neutral spine, go ahead, press all the way out. We're going those 5 pulses. Again, resist halfway in. Pulse 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, press it out. Nice. Then pull in for 1, press 2, fire up those hamstrings, glutes, pelvic floor, core, and 5, press all the way out. Last 1. Pull in, pulse 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and come all the way in. Perfect. Gluing your legs together. Actually, we're going hip distance apart. You're gonna go, just drop down to the balls of the feet this time, yes, perfect. So, knees are gonna stay right on top of those hips, you're still in that neutral. Now you're in your high half toe. Try and keep these heels as high as possible while maintaining your neutral spine as you press out for 12 total. Pressing out, and then resist, holding that ankle right there. Squeeze and press, resisting back in, perfect. So when we're in this position, you're gonna feel those hamstrings, your quads, more of your quads and your calves light up. Really pull those kneecaps up the thigh as you lengthen. Squeeze the glutes, and as much as there's not pressure in your heels, I still want you to feel like you're pushing through something. So you get a little of that activation on the back. Keep that tailbone heavy on the mat. It's like less tuck. Almost for you, it's gonna feel like you're anchoring the tailbone down, not the low back. Yes, there you go, yes. Feel like this is 8, let's go for about 4 more. 3 more. Last 2. Your last one, go ahead, press all the way out, hold it here. Just lowering those heels for 6. So lower, resist it up. Lower 2, and lift. Inhale 3, exhale lift. 4, pulling it in up, really lifting up through the front of that. 5, last 1, 6, returning all the way back in. We're going down for 5. Take an inhale, press through the toes. Again, lower down for 5. Lift, and 4, squeeze, lift. Resist, 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 resist that spring mark. Last 1, lift, bend the knees, return all the way back in for 4. Pressing all the way out. Lower 4, and lift, and 3, and lift, and 2, lift, 1, lift, bend the knees, return back in. Last 1. I said that backwards. Is this 3? Yes, 3. Lower 3. Oh my gosh. And 2, and lift, and 1, and lift, and come back in. Last 2. There we go. Pressing all the way out. Lower 2, and lift. Lower 1, lift, bend the knees, return back in. And final 1, press. Lower, I'm going to have you lift. We'll go into running. So lower the left heel, bend the right knee, and then switch. Nice and easy switch for about 20 reps here. I'm going to let you kind of count those out for yourself, feeling like you're getting a stretch and a resist. So both sides of your core are working a little bit differently to stabilize your hips, stabilizing your core and your glutes, and then working through the heel, working through the calves, working through the hamstrings, the quads, everything pulling in and up, and just stabilizing on top. Let's go for about 4 more, and 3 more, and 2, and 1. Let's speeding it up a little bit. Last through, and pass, and pass, and pass. 5, and 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, bend the knees, return all the way back in. All right, last part of our footwork, we're gonna bring those heels back up onto your foot bar, working in our external or lateral rotation. You're gonna bring those heels wide on your foot bar to your second position. So, knees are still gonna go pretty much in line with those ankles. I want you to drive through the heels, focus on those hamstrings and glutes. Keep that tailbone pressing heavy into the mat so you're holding that neutral spine. From here for 12 reps, press through the heels, feeling like those inner thighs magnetized together, resisting back in. Squeeze and press, resisting back in. It's kind of similar to like a sumo squat out on the floor, where you're keeping everything connected and wrapping and rotating in your seat, feeling like you're working that external rotation, pulling everything in and up. Let's go last 4. Pressing out for 3. Press out for 2. And let's press out for 1. Return halfway in, pulsing for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Press all the way out. Now this is where it's gonna get easier to tuck under. Keep that nice neutral spine. I get pull in for 5, press 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Press all the way out. Last 1. Come in for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Press and return all the way back in. Awesome. All right, we will move you down to 1 rep, that 1.5 spring, as we go into our mid-back series. So again, now taking all that work from your legs, we want to stabilize the lower half as we work the upper lats, connecting them into your core and your glutes. So I'm going to have you use the shorter straps here. Staying on that lighter resistance today, you're going to have those arms straight up above your shoulders. Feel that chest wide, your ribs tight, belly button in, keeping that nice neutral spine. We're going to bring those legs back up to 90 degree, tabletop position, hold here. Now, starting with triceps, remember bring your elbows down by your ribs, keep the triceps covered, and work at that 90 degree angle. For 5 reps, start off reaching long through the triceps, resist back into 90. Exhale, press. Inhale back to 90. Exhale, press. Resist to 90. Exhale, press. 1 more. Press. And 90. From here, adding flexion with your head, neck, shoulders, and extension with the legs. Take an inhale. Exhale, press, lift, and reach, and rotate. Deepening into that core. Resist back in, stabilizing those obliques. Again, squeeze, press, reach, belly button pulls in, pelvic floor is in, resisting back in. 3 more, squeeze and press and reach. Resisting back in. Squeeze, press, reach. Resist back in. 1 more, squeeze, press, and reach. Resist back in, and return back in and up. Lower the feet back down, take a moment to prepare. Going into straight arms, same positioning, chest wide, shoulders down, ribs together. Go reset those legs back up at that nice 90 degree angle. Or you can bring those out just slightly. Give you that little extra challenge to really hold that low pelvic floor, lower core. Starting with those straight arms, then drive those arms straight down to your hips. Inhale, resist back up. Again, feel like your lats start to connect into your ribs as you reach, and you maintain that connection as you come back up. Long and strong with those arms, resist the work back up. 2 more here. Pressing down, I love that I'm not seeing any movement in that lower half. So you're really just stabilizing, keeping that neutral spine. That was 4, let's go 1 more. Press for 5, and resist. Okay, adding your head, neck, shoulders, press, curl, and lift. Resist back in and down. Press, squeeze, lift, reach. Resist back and down. Press, squeeze, lift, reach. Bracing the ribs to the hips, keeping that core tight, belly button pulls in. We're gonna go 1 more on this last one. Mentally prepare to hold. Squeeze, press, lift, hold. Hold a little bit higher there. Perfect. From here, little tiny circles. And circle, holding the ribs, the belly button. Everything's held, controlled. And switch directions in the shoulder socket. Circle and circle for 3 and 2 and 1. Hold those arms long. Going into your single leg stretch. Pull one knee in, reach the opposite leg long. And exhale, switch. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Big ribs tight, low back down. Squeeze the glutes. Exhale, exhale for 3, 3, 3, 3, and 2, 2, 2, 2. Last 1, 1, 1, 1. Pull back to 90, curl up a little higher. Slowly resist the arms back down. Once you come back in, return the feet to the foot bar, all the way into your stopper. All right, we'll place those straps back down. And I'm going to switch you up a little bit for feet and straps. So I'm going to give you a little bit of extra tension, up to 2 reps. And from there, go ahead and press off that foot bar. Add those feet into the log strap one at a time, holding that tension in the rope. You got it. All right. Just to kind of give your back a little bit more of that reprieve, take those legs straight up towards the ceiling. Going into lift and lower, you're going to feel like your hamstrings and glutes are working, your core is stabilizing, and you're keeping that spine nice and long, lengthening through your obliques here. Taking an exhale, I want you to press those legs long and down, stabilizing, holding into the core. Inhale, resisting those legs back up. Nice and long through the backs of the legs. Resist back up. Perfect. Pressing down. Resist back up. Last one here. Staying in that nice parallel neutral position. Resist back up. At the top, heels together, toes apart. Same thing, pressing all the way down. Feel like your inner thighs, your deep 6 rotators and your glutes are working, and then try to keep that tailbone heavy on the mat. So your hips stay down as you come up. You're still in that nice neutral alignment. Pressing down. Resist back up. Last one lower. Once you come all the way up, return back to neutral. Bend to a 90-degree angle. There you go. And we'll go into our neutral parallel bend and stretch. Pulling those knees into your chest. Drive your heels as you extend. And again, flexing those ankles on your inhale. Exhale, press and point. Inhale. Fire the glutes, the hamstrings, the core. Feeling like your ribs are connected all the way down to your ankles, to your toes. Last 2. Here you go. Last 1. Press. Pull it back in. Return to that frog position now. So the heels are together, the toes are apart. You have that nice neutral without letting go in those hips. Same thing, drive through the heels, squeeze those, press those inner thighs, hamstrings together as you extend, and inhale to bend. And again, when you press out, then point your toes now, and then flex as you come back in, yes. Squeeze and press and reach, so you get that length through the toe, come back in. Last 2. And last 1, reach, pull back in. All right, we can take one foot out of that strap, reach it back down to your foot bar. Perfect. Once you have that foot on the foot bar, it's a little bit safer and easier to come all the way back in, taking that left foot out, and return back into your stoppers, and place those straps back on your hooks. Nicely done. Moving on to some upper body, we're going to start Lisa on sitting on her platform so she can sit up taller without putting any extra pressure in her hips. So when she's sitting here, her head is on top of her shoulders, on top of her ribs, on top of her hips. Her core is tight, her pelvic floor is pulled up, her glutes have a slight activation in them, and we'll start on 1 red spring. For Lisa, she's going to place her hands in her shoulder loops of the shoulder straps there, and her hands are just going down by her sides, starting to light up her back, her lats, activate her triceps a little bit. All I want her to do is to do an inhale. On her exhale, she presses those arms back. On her inhale, she resists those arms forward. We'll go for about 5 to 6 more reps. Press and resist. Really just lighting up her back and resist. 3, resist. Holding into that core, and everything nice and stacked. Nice job. Last 2. And last 1. All right, placing a metal pole, going it through the short straps here. We're going to keep the ropes in line with the pulleys, and I'm going to have you grab on the outside for an underhand low row. So in that position, you're going to think of those elbows going to your pockets as you pull in on your exhale, and then inhale, resist that long. So we're really maintaining your shoulder stability up here, driving down through your lats. It's almost like your shoulder blades are keeping that connection down to your pockets. Your mid-back's working to hold, chest stays wide, and you're not letting anything go in your midsection. Let's go about 4 more. And 3. Beautiful. Last 2. And last 1. All right, placing the hands on the top of the bar. Thinking now a chest row. So that bar is going to come up a little higher to you. Elbows wide, and you still have that connection here without letting those traps lift, and then resisting back along. So it's really connecting your shoulder blades towards and down to stabilize the upper thoracic spine. As you hold into the core, as your hips, your glutes, your pelvic floor is still working, full body, even though it's arm work. Let's go 3. And 2. And 1, perfect. Last one here. We'll flip those palms back to that underhand grip. Going into a bicep curl, you're pulling that bar in towards your forehead and then resisting back out. Now Lisa, you're strong, so you're gonna keep those elbows there, keep the shoulders here, and just pull. Try not to let anything drop. Yes, and resist. So we're stabilizing still through our mid-back. Our lats are connected. Our ribs are still tight, even though it's all bicep shoulder stability here. That's it. Let's go 4 more. This is where it gets a little bit spicy. 3. Last 2. And last 1. Nice job. Lowering back down. Okay, we'll take that bar out. We'll place the straps back on the hooks, and then I'll have you step up and off to your right side. From here, we will switch up that platform to the back half here so that we can go into some side seated or side arm series. So you'll again sit crisscross facing the wall in front of you. Hips are back up onto that platform. And again, we're looking for that chest wide, shoulders on top of ribs on top of hips, and that long, tall posture. Just for time's sake, we're only going to do the left arm and the left side today. So reaching to this back strap behind you. You're strong, we're going to use that short strap again. You're going to think of shoulders, everything stabilizing. So you're holding on the right as you work on the left. Pulling that arm into you, reach that arm straight forward, pull it back in, and then open it back out. Take an inhale, exhale, pull in. Reaching that arm straight forward, pulling it back in, and exhale, open out. Inhale, exhale, pull. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Inhale, open. 1 more. Inhale, pull in towards your center, and reach. And pull, and open. Adding a rotation, so pulling into you, rotate and reach, get that twist in the spine. Inhale, pull in, exhale, extend back out. That opposite hip to the opposite rib. As you pull it, as you reach it, it's shoulders. There you go. If it gets a little too much, let me know. We can drop that lung strap. Reach. And right, last one. Pull and reach and pull and open. All right, place that strap back down. Normally we would switch to the left or to the right side, but I'll again have you step up and off that reformer, and we'll go straight into our front rowing. Switching again that platform to the shoulder rest back here. You'll sit up here facing your foot bar. Again, we're going to start without the pull, and then we'll add to it. So again, you can sit crisscross applesauce. Again, head, neck, shoulders, ribs on top of your hips, your pelvic floors in. Sit up really tall, chest. Yes, there we go. All right, I'm going to hand you the straps from behind you. You can grab onto the short again. If it gets a little too much, go back to walk. With those arms down by your sides, again, hold into the core. You're carrying those arms straight up to shoulder height. Resist back down. So it's thinking like up through the shoulders, wide and down through your lats and your back. Connecting your core, resisting back down. Beautiful. Carry forward, resist. Let's go 2 more. Last one. All right, go ahead and open or press those arms back up. Or go into a little bit like a chest fly. So think having a little hug where you're about a foot away from you. Think open and wide down your lats, and then press back close. Important thing to watch, that these arms don't go way behind you. Don't splay the ribs, nothing else happens. You just work the shoulders, the chest, and you fire your lats to support. Last 2 here. Open and close. Nice job. Relax the shoulders a little bit. There you go. And press through. All right, come back down. I'm going to place that pull again right between the short straps here. kind of like a little seat belt. Okay, we're gonna separate those ropes again about the pulley distance. Hands will go on the wide on the outside there. And then I want you to sit up really tall. Bring that to your chest height. Driving those shoulders down, just like a chest press. Pressing straight forward, widen down the back. So you get that resist. Press and resist. Now when you come back in, you're getting that nice little deficit in those elbows. So you get to fire through your lats. You re-engage the chest, re-engage the shoulders. You keep that spine up really tall. There we go. Keep that core in and up. Glutes are tight. Last two. And last one. And press. Okay. Now for you, this is going to be a little bit more of a pick your poison, where your hands go. With your shoulders being maybe a little bit more narrow, you might not have them as wide as we go into triceps, but you might bring them, maybe right on the outside. If that's too wide, you just bring them to the inside. Carry those arms up to shoulder height. From here, I want you to take your spine from this tall position, keep it flat, hinge forward. So it's like you're reaching. Carry those arms up a little higher, and then bend at the elbows, pulling that bar to you, and extend. I don't like that position for you. Let's bring your hands to the inside of the ropes. That looks better to me. Open that up just a little bit wider. Yes. That looks better. All right, reset. Go ahead, press it up. Hinge, and then from there, bend the elbows. Much better. Yes, that's way better. And press. And you still want that chest wide. Yes, the shoulders down. Fire through the triceps. There you go. Let's go 3 more. Press. And 2. Press. Last one. And press. And lower that bar down. Awesome. All right, come back in. We'll place those straps back on the hooks. And we will step off to go into mermaid and into a little bit of a cool down. All right, so using side splits to start to cool down for Lisa, we will show you kind of the left side of her side splits. So when she comes up here, she stands on the platform that doesn't move first, then she transfers her weight over. Starting really small, her head, shoulders are on top of her ribs, her hips, her knees, her ankles, finding that nice alignment where her pelvic floor is in and up, her glutes are tight, she's going to stabilize, and watch that her hips don't start to sink back. From here, Lisa, taking an inhale, sliding out, just start small, and then on her exhale, she comes back in. Really just trying to open up her inner thighs here as she presses out and resists back in. Go to where you feel comfortable, but know that as far as you go out is how far you have to pull back in. Every time she's safely coming all the way back into that stopper for 2 more. Now this is a balanced body performer, so we have a little different platform options as far as how to put the platform over the springs here. So this one slides in and comes up and over to cover the springs versus the one that goes across like on the Stott performers. Let's go for about 1 more there, Lisa. Nice job. Resisting out, just really getting that nice stretch to your inner thighs. Feeling like your inner thigh, your core, everything helps to pull you back in up. All right, slowly and carefully step onto the wood, step down. Yeah, it always feels a little wobbly there. Okay, from here I'm gonna up raise your foot bar. Here, there you go. And then we will stay on that same spring. And I'm going to place your platform back on your reformer. Going into mermaid just for our final cool down stretch. I'm going to move it just a little bit to the right so you have your room for your left leg to line up with the shoulder rest. So go ahead and sit up on the platform. This should again kind of give you a little extra space for your hips. So her left knee, left shin is up against the shoulder rest, the right leg is zigzagged across, and she's going to bring her right hand to the foot bar slightly in front of her shoulders. Head on top of shoulders, on top of ribs, on top of hips. Her goal is to keep these hips as square and possible down as much as possible here. Taking an inhale. Exhale, I want you to push through the bar, lifting that left arm all the way up and over, getting this nice long stretch through your sides. Take an inhale, restack, lower that left arm down. Now holding onto the shoulder rest with the left. Take an inhale, I want you to lift the right arm up, get this nice long crunchy stretch towards the foot bar, or towards the tower. Inhale, restack, and lower back down. Let's do that 3 more times. Press through the heel, lifting, lengthening all the way up and over. Take an inhale, restack, lengthen and lower. Feel like you lift taller to come up and over, lengthening the spine between, or the space between each vertebrae here. Take an inhale, restack, lower back down 1 more time. Lifting all the way up and over, reach, 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 reach. Restack, lower back down, lifting all the way up and over. Restack, and press through the right heel of your hand, lifting that left arm all the way up and over. Using that core, restack that spine, lower that arm down. Lift all the way up and over here. Restack that spine. And from here, lifting and twisting towards your tower, reaching towards the two shoulder heads with that nice long leg. Taking an inhale here. On your exhale, uncoil. Nicely done. In a real class, we would flip it around and repeat on, I guess technically the left side as well. Nicely done, Lisa.